This man is definitely a genius. He just lacked a studio, so he bought a shipping container online, planning to renovate it. This would perfectly solve the problem. When the container arrived, he first took out some foam boards from the container, then placed them on the inner wall of the container. After matching them, he would cut off the excess parts, then squeeze foam and glue on. This way, the foam boards could be fixed in place. Not only would it fit perfectly on the container's inner wall, but it was also very affordable. For someone not wealthy, it was the perfect choice. As for the top, he first laid long foam boards to fill the grooves. Then he stuck two large foam boards on top, supporting the bottom with wooden brackets, completely sealing the top tightly. For some small gaps at the edges, he would first squeeze foam glue, then cut thin foam boards in place. For the container's iron door, he did the same, filling uneven places with large foam boards, then using small foam boards to fill the remaining gaps. Once completed, he cleaned the inside, then used a ruler to measure the top's distance, cutting corresponding lengths of square wood, and fixing the wood near the door. He planned to build a frame for the studio door with wood. Each wooden joint needed to be reinforced with screws. Soon a door frame took shape. After clearing the wood chips, he quickly brought the sliding door, testing if it could open and close normally. Then he used screws to thoroughly secure the sliding door to the wooden frame. After the sliding door was fixed, he brought in some cut plasterboards and installed them inside the container. After wrapping the container with plasterboards, the whole thing became more sturdy and aesthetically pleasing. This was the effect after reinforcement, but the joints of the plasterboards still needed further processing. First scraping on some putty, then sealing with special tape, then scraping more putty to completely fill the gaps. After fixing, he would use a tool to roll on another layer, then sand the patched area smooth with sandpaper. The next morning he came to the outside of the container. After measuring and marking the position, he used an angle grinder to cut out a rectangular outline, then removed the outer iron sheet and cleaned the inner foam boards, then continued installing the inner and outer frames. After securing the screws, he installed an exhaust fan. This allowed the air inside to circulate, then laid a layer of oil paper on the ground to protect it from damage. Now he began to paint the inner walls, first applying a layer of white paint, then continuing with a layer of dark paint on the upper part. To give the interior more depth, he used tape at the divided area, then painted with a darker color. After letting the paint dry naturally, he removed the tape. Next, he fixed some brackets on both sides of the inner walls, placing same-colored wooden boards on top of the brackets, and securing them together firmly with screws. This formed two work platforms on both sides. The ground also needed brackets, drilling corresponding holes to fix the two brackets in place. These two spots were the most important work platforms, so the height had to be adjusted just right, spraying some patterns on the wall to enhance overall aesthetics. At this point, the studio was taking shape. Then he went outside, first cutting out a round hole, then extending the power supply inside, fixing the junction box inside, then installing some lights on the top, completing the entire studio's electrical circuit. Now he could test the overall lighting. Next, he brought in the air conditioner and installed it in place. With this, the studio made from a shipping container was complete. So what do you think of his creativity?